I'm going to give you a breakdown of the Week 8 NFL matchup between the New York Giants and the Detroit Lions, and we're starting right now. What is going on? My name is Alpha Omega. Welcome to another video. Before we get into the betting guide, make sure and head over to my website and sign up for a sports pick package. I had another profitable NFL Sunday in Week 7 with my wise guy play on the Cowboys, taking me from a small loser to a small winner, and I'm averaging 61% winners overall this season. My Week 8 mathematical betting model's ready to go, and I'll have at least one wise guy play ready for Sunday morning. So if you're a sports bettor and you want to get my plays for Week 8 and start winning money betting on sports, all you need to do is head over to my website and sign up for a wise guy play package. Also, if this is your first time here and you want to learn how to bet on sports like a pro and gain an edge over the sports books, start now by subscribing to my YouTube channel and make sure to click the bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. The NFL season is beginning to fly by, and with the start of the NBA season, I'll start incorporating some NBA betting guide videos, so stay tuned for that in the coming weeks. In terms of Week 7 of the NFL, the Vikings pulled away from the Lions on the back of solid defense and Matthew Stafford mistakes. Jacoby Brissett and the Colts reminded the league that they're still here. Kyler Murray gets the third straight win for the Cardinals against the Giants, a classic rain game for the 49ers. Derek Carr continues to repeat the same mistakes, which changed the whole momentum of the game. The Rams had a get-right game against the Falcons. The Chargers continue to be the subject of extreme variance, or in other words, the unluckiest team in the NFL. Lamar Jackson comes back from the dead. Mitchell Trubisky proves he is not a starting quarterback in the NFL, and the Cowboys beat up on the Eagles from start to finish, which cashed my only wise guy play in Week 7. I also filmed a betting guide for the Eagles-Cowboys game that still has actionable information, which I'll include a link to at the top of the screen. While you may know all of this already, my point is that in the world of sports betting, what appears to be the most obvious winning bet is why the vast majority of sports bettors lose more than they win, and why hiring a professional who uses predictive analytics can help separate you from other bettors and turn you into a consistent winner. The good news is that as we go deeper into the 2019 NFL season, more and more data is accumulated, and the more data I have, the more accurate my bets become. But more on all of that later. The Alpha Omega Vegas consensus line has the Lions favored by 7 points with the total sitting at 49. Implied odds mean based on the current moneyline odds, what is the projected implied probability of victory? Basically, it's the chances of victory expressed as a percentage. In this case, Vegas is saying the Lions have a 76% chance of winning the game, with the Giants having a 28% chance of pulling off the upset. Using my base power rankings, I have the Lions favored by 5 points with the total at 47. But remember, my base power rankings are only the starting point if you want to make money betting on the 2019 NFL season. The Detroit Lions offense has been one of the most inconsistent offensive units in the NFL, being capable of putting up big offensive numbers and looking like a legitimate contender, and also being capable of turning the ball over through poor decision making and not being able to adapt when an opponent makes defensive adjustments. These offensive issues were on display against the Vikings, with the Lions scoring 3 touchdowns in the first half, all from Matt Stafford passes to Marvin Jones, but scoring only another 9 points the rest of the game. One of the keys for the Lions offense has been the running ability of Kerryon Johnson to set up the passing attack of Matthew Stafford. If we look back at the history of Matthew Stafford, while he is a talented quarterback capable of winning games under ideal conditions, when Stafford has no running game to fall back on, Matthew Stafford has consistently shown an inability to carry the team on his own. Kerryon Johnson went down with what is being simply called a knee injury, but Johnson has been placed on injured reserve and is not available to return until at the earliest Week 16. The silver lining, at least for this week, is how dreadful the Giants' defense is. as we will discuss momentarily, the lack of any consistent playmakers on defense gives Matthew Stafford and the Detroit offense a chance to succeed. The keys for the Lions offense will be the Lions offensive line giving Matthew Stafford time to throw, Coach Matt Patricia taking advantage of superior offensive talent, and Matthew Stafford's decision making. If the Lions accomplish these goals, Detroit can cover the spread and win the game. The Giants' defense has issues at every level, ranking 5th in allowed yards per game, which is a predictor of potential defensive insolvency. But the fact that New York also ranks 6th in points allowed shows that the Giants' defense is one of the worst units in the NFL. Furthermore, the Giants' defense ranks as one of the most susceptible secondary units to deep passes, and with the Lions' reliance on deep passing, ranking 4th in passes over 20 yards, all of this presents significant problems for the Giants' defense. There are positives to this Giants' defensive unit, which, while lacking in overall talent, is seemingly coming together as a defensive unit, with Kyler Murray only passing for 104 yards with no touchdowns. The Giants' defensive line will have to force pressure onto Matthew Stafford. As I already mentioned, that is where Stafford is vulnerable. And with emerging secondary stars like rookie DeAndre Baker or offseason acquisition Jabril Peppers, the Giants' defense could easily force turnovers if pressure is applied to Matthew Stafford. The keys for the Giants' defense are getting pressure on Matthew Stafford, which will force Stafford into making bad decisions, the Giants' secondary forcing at least one turnover, and with the absence of the Lions' running game, not allowing the Lions' pass catchers to beat the secondary deep. If the Giants accomplish these goals, New York will cover the spread and win the game. Before I continue with the betting guide, if you are enjoying the video and if you feel like you're getting good information that can help you gain an edge over the sportsbooks and make smarter sports wagers, make sure and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can stay updated with the latest sports betting content from me, professional sports handicapper Alpha Omega. Also, make sure and click the link in the description of the video, check out my website, and sign up for a sports betting package. I literally break down sports information and make my living based on that information every day. I take all of the sports data I can find, I factor all of that data into mathematical betting models to make my picks, and I send you the same picks that I bet on myself. I have packages for every level of sports bettor, from a beginner who is just coming into the sports betting world to the expert bettor who just needs that extra edge to take them to the next level. Make the smart decision and sign up with a professional today. The Lions' defense is equally atrocious, not ranking better than 26th in any major defensive statistical category. However, potentially the most important facet of the Lions' defense heading into the matchup with the Giants is the trade of defensive captain and locker room leader Quandre Diggs to the Seahawks for a 5th-round pick. The ability to handicap the effect the loss of Diggs will have on the play of the defense is the difference in determining how the Lions' defense will play against the Giants. A further issue for the Lions' defense is the inability of the defensive line to generate pressure in opposing backfields, and also allowing running backs to rush for 112 yards per game on average. The Lions are near the bottom of the league in both sacks and pressure, and the Lions are the worst team in the NFL in pass rush win rate by a wide margin. The good news for the Lions is the offensive line of the New York Giants ranks toward the bottom of the league in sacks allowed, and as we will discuss shortly, the Giants gave up 8 sacks against the Cardinals, who are not an elite defensive team. The Lions defense will have a chance, but the loss of Diggs may end up being more important, at least for this week. The keys for the Lions defense will be getting pressure on Daniel Jones, which will force the rookie into risky throws, stopping Saquon Barkley, and not letting the loss of a locker room leader get the secondary out of its comfort zone. If the Lions accomplish these goals, Detroit will cover the spread and win the game. The Giants' offense has been a difficult unit to handicap. considering how Daniel Jones has played since taking over for Eli Manning. While Jones has obviously struggled in aspects of the game and currently is averaging 1.75 interceptions and 0.5 fumbles per start for a total of 2.25 turnovers per week, the Giants' offense has also been affected by injuries, with star Saquon Barkley dealing with an ankle sprain, number one wide receiver Sterling Shepard still recovering from a concussion, and tight end Evan Ingram dealing with a knee injury. Shepard will not play against the Lions, and while Barkley and Ingram returned against the Cardinals, as the game wore on, it was obvious that Barkley was not 100% and lacked the same explosiveness, and Evan Ingram was poked in the eye in the third quarter and was not targeted for the remainder of the game. The Giants' offense has also been hampered by negative EV or negative expected value play calling. Coach Pat Shurmur's play calling is often difficult to understand and has not provided Daniel Jones with the best situation. The rushing ability of Daniel Jones has also fallen off the last few weeks, and Daniel Jones using his legs to open up the passing game is sorely missed in this lackluster offensive unit. The keys for the Giants' offense will be Daniel Jones making better decisions and not turning the ball over, the offensive line protecting Jones, and Saquon Barkley gaining enough on the ground to prevent the Lions from selling out against the pass. If the Giants accomplish these goals, New York will cover the spread and win the game. The margin of victory in this game will be determined by the Lions' offense taking advantage of their superior talent, especially their pass-catching matchups, the Giants' secondary taking advantage of the lack of a Lions rushing attack and not getting beat deep, the Lions' defense forcing Jones into causing more turnovers, and the Giants' offensive line protecting Daniel Jones and giving him time to throw. Whichever team accomplishes their team goals will cover the spread and win the game. Okay guys, that's the video. Let me know what you think. If you feel like you're gaining information that will help you in your sports betting, or if you have questions, make sure and let me know in the comments. And remember, we are now in week 8 of the 2019 NFL season, and with the accumulation of 7 weeks of data, my NFL analytics and mathematical predictions will have me sending out a lot more of my max unit wise guy plays. So if you want to find out how a pro bettor makes money, and you want to start making money too, make sure and head over to my website and sign up for one of my sports pick packages. And remember, I have packages for every type of sports bettor. I have packages for the beginner who lives in a state where sports betting just became legal and is now interested in learning how to make money betting on sports. And I also have packages for the everyday sports bettor who is looking for a professional to help them make smarter sports wagers. Regardless of what type of bettor you are, make sure to click the link in the description of the video and head over to my website and sign up for a package now. And if you want to stay updated with all the latest sports betting guides across all major sports, start now by hitting the round subscribe icon so you don't miss anything. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.